What's up, YouTube? Welcome to Mr. Ferguson channel. Welcome back to the new to lawn care series. If you missed the midweek quickie, pause this, go watch that real quick, watch the beginning, the first half of it at least, and then come back to this one. We introduced a new logo, and we're gonna be doing things just a little bit differently, so let me know how you like it. But today, we're gonna talk about mowing, so let's get to it. So thank you guys for coming back for yet another video here in North Carolina. We want to talk about mowing today. Why is mowing so important? Why do we need to mow? I think like 95% of people out there with grass outside of their home, they want to get that sucker just as low as they can so they don't have to mow it, you know, for the next month if they could. But mowing is very important, and as I've come to take care of this lawn that I have, I've learned that. One of the things that is very important about mowing is that you'll hear from the professionals like Alan Hain, you'll hear from the professionals like Pete Denny over in Reidsville, North Carolina from GCI Turf. They will tell you that you want to mow 2 to 3 times a week. Why do we want to do this? One reason is because it trains our grass that as it grows, we begin to mow it, we begin to cut it, and we begin to train our tall fescue that we want its roots to drive deep into the ground where it can get moisture and where it can be more sustainable to the nutrients in the ground. And it learns, okay, every time I grow, I'm getting chopped. So I want to grow downward instead of putting all my energy into growing upwards. So this is one of the reasons why you want to try to mow your grass 2 to 3 times a week, if at all possible. Now here on the Mr. Ferguson channel, you all know I am a complete 100% DIYer. And disregard the thinning. If you don't know why this area is thin, then you need to go back and watch the previous Mr. Ferguson video. So we're not going to get into that today. So we're going to talk about this lovely, very clean and polished up for the video mower. Yes, I am a DIYer. Now, lately, I've had some disease in my lawn. If we have disease in our lawn, most of the time, you want a bag. Why? Because clearly we don't want to spread leaves or blades of grass that we have cut all over our lawn that may be contagious and disease. Think, I don't know, coronavirus or COVID-19. Instead of going around sneezing all over the place, you want to cover that thing up a little bit when you sneeze and try to contain it a little bit. Make sense? Thus, the bagger. Most mowers, and I am no mower expert, and we're not going to get into every aspect of mowing, guys, but you can either bag, you can either mulch, which would be taking the bag off and just cutting as it is and chopping up the blades of grass on the inside, or you can side discharge, which would be removing the bag, closing the top, and discharging from the side. Again, very clean for the video. So let us take this moment to say, always keep your mower clean, like this one, because we're DIYers and people are looking at our mowers. And if, I don't know, your neighbor says, hey, let me borrow your mower so I can use that cool striping kit, always keep it clean. Speaking of striping kit, that's what we have here. Let me take the bag off so you can get a greater look at the striping kit. In all seriousness, one of the biggest questions, or most frequently questions I get from just passerbyers, neighbors, they're like, how does he get those stripes in his yard? They'll ask my wife, they'll ask me, and they're like, how do they get those lines in the yard? Well, it's very simple. It's called a lawn striper. Now this one, let's wipe this off. It's by Big League Lawns. You can see their website right there. You can even see a phone number. They have all types of different striping kits for mowers. Yes, I put this sucker on my own. It is somewhere in the channel. I will try to link it up in the top corner if you're interested in a lawn striper. Mr. Kevin tells me all the time, man, I think this is the time I'm gonna go order one. He has to peek out the window and get glistened in the face by the stripes off my lawn. And so he's like, I think this is the week. And so I'm hoping Mr. Kevin will get one for his John Deere. But we'll see. But this is a lawn striper. Literally, you can see its purpose. Now it rolls behind the mower and it literally just tilts the grass either, well, clearly forward. And so when you go down, it tilts it forward. When you're coming back, it's tilting it the opposite way. And when the sun hits our grass, when it's tilted by something of a lawn striper, it creates this striping pattern. On the side, I have been doing it up and down, so there you go, in case you were wondering about stripes. So when we're talking about tall fescue, we want to keep tall fescue mainly tall. Grass, height of cut. What do we do? How tall do we need to cut our grass? Well, it depends on what type of grass you have, but we're gonna talk about GCI, turf type tall fescue. We're gonna talk about fescue. I try to keep mine on almost the highest setting. Now the last one, yeah, look at that clean mower. There's no blades of grass there that I'm wiping off. Look how clean those wheels are. Man, shining. But you can see I've got it on the second to highest setting, which is what you're looking at here. 2 days after cutting it. So you can play around with height, but it's recommended, as most of you have probably seen, 3.5 to 4.5 inches tall for tall fescue. Now the key is, what is the temperature like? In the summertime, you typically want to keep your grass a little bit taller. It helps it puts less stress on the plant. Rather than in the fall or in the winter months or in the early spring, you can play around with height of cut, at least in my experience and what I would recommend. I like to drop it down and play around with height. When I know it's a little bit cooler, we don't have as much sun, we're getting rain, we're not lacking any rain, we've got moisture in the ground, and we don't have high temperatures, I will definitely drop it down. As you see, I'm currently between 7 and 8. Sometimes I'll drop it down between 5 and 6. Typically, I won't go any lower than that, but you can play around with height of cut depending on the season. So does height matter? Yes. In the summer months, in the hot temperatures, you want to keep it longer, around 3.5 to 4 inches, but you can play around with it and drop it down lower and cut it a little bit shorter in the cooler seasons. Another thing I'll tell you, I don't have a grinder. I don't have a workbench. I have this great shed that I'm not going to complain about because me and my dad put this thing together. I would recommend sharpening your own blades. Unless you have a friend that lives next door, somebody that's right up the street from you and they don't charge you for it, great. Otherwise, I would not go anywhere and have anybody sharpen my blades. I would do it myself. So I believe I've talked about this before, but this little doodad was under $50 on Amazon. It's literally just a metal grinder coming with grinding wheels. All these wheels right here came with it. It has a little handle that can screw into the side right there, as you can see, and plug it up. Boom. You can throw your blades down, give it a little edge. And actually here recently, or coming up very shortly, Mr. Ferguson needs to sharpen his blade. One of the green ones I've got on it now needs to be sharpened. So I highly recommend, if you're going to do you think about it, you're supposed to be cutting 2-3 times a week. You want to sharpen your blades at least, I recommend, once a month at least. That's what I try to do. It's not the end of the world, but remember that we can tear our grass, we can cut it, and with a dull blade, we can cause more stress on our grass if we're not sharpening it to get a good clean cut. It can tear the grass and cause damage to your plants. So also keep that in mind. So rounding third and headed home, one of the last things I'll bring up for this video is Mow Pattern. Now, I have a way that I love to cut my grass, and that's the up and down pattern, which is like on the side of my house here. I love going up and down in the backyard, up and down in the front yard. That's I love it, especially with the striping kit, because the sun hits it perfectly and it looks outstanding. And you guys have seen the pictures here on the channel. But it is recommended that you want to go left or right. You want to go diagonal. You want to go the other diagonal way on all parts of your lawn. Why? Because if you continuously mow in the same direction all the time, 24/7, every time you cut grass, especially doing it 2 or 3 times a week, you're going to put tracks in your grass. With your wheels, with your striping kit, turning around the same areas, mowing it the same way, you will tear the grass. You will have tracks that will begin to fade in some of those areas. So keep that in mind. You want to switch up your mowing. Once you begin to cut, you'll see, okay, it's starting to really, I'm seeing dirt here. It's starting to fade out. I'm getting some dead grass because you're running over that section all the time with your wheels. So keep that in mind as well. So there you have it. It's not very difficult. It's very simple. all those pros that are watching, all those DIYers that are here on the channel. Comment below what I forgot. I didn't list every single thing about mowing. I'm a DIYer like you guys, so that's why we have this growing channel. Mention it below, guys, what I missed, and let these newbies know what they need to know, all the important stuff. I'm sure I left out something important that needs to be said, but there's so many different things. But the most important thing is try to enjoy the mow. Once you plant in the fall and you get your beautiful tall fescue seed or whatever it may be in your lawn, enjoy the mow. It is such a difference between not having a yard that you planted and cutting weeds and having a tall fescue lawn that's a premium GCI seed or Jonathan Green or anything of that nature, and cutting nice beautiful grass, and just there's a satisfaction about it. So I hope this has made sense to you lawn newbies. You're almost at graduation day. We're getting closer. We're gonna hit some other topics coming up soon. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're not. We'll see you on the next one.